Lanka, I'm not trying to start a minority Tamil uprising. What I'd like to see is the Sinhala Spring. Now my family's from Jaffna, but my amma was raised in Kandy. And hearing her speak Sinhalese with Shanti Mami is as sweet as hearing her use Tamil to pesi me. While he lived, my uncle was an ardent fan of separatism. And in remembering him, some of the nicest conversations have been with one of his childhood best friends, a man who is a Jaffna Muslim. So getting me to back the concept of a united Sri Lanka is easy, because my heart already wants to believe. I would like nothing better than for our generation to throw a Baila beach party. We'll spend the day on the sand sipping that arak and toddy, dancing our hearts away under a Sarangani-style sunset. Which is why I gotta let you know, if you really want to build a future with me, you have to stop bashing the LTTE. Allow me to replay my version of history. We shared that island for centuries, which is why it drives me crazy when you call me Indian. Yes, I am Tamil, but I am not the same as them. And I have mad love for my continental counterparts, but seriously, have you heard them speak? My family does not come from the Kolaveri tree. We are Yapanam, Tirukonamalai, Mattakalapu, Mathalai, Nigambu, Korambu, Hatton, Vavanya, Ampara, Menda, Puttalam, and Silabam. We are Ilange, born and bred. As a kid learning Hinduism, my allegiance was never with Ram. It was to the dude with 10 heads. And 1956 sticks out as the time when you separated us, with your unfortunate penchant for Sinhala only. And I remember 1958 as the year my grandfather was ripped from a train. You took bats to his brain and left him in a roadside ditch for dead. And satyagraha after satyagraha, we led our people through nonviolent protest, not wanting our own state, but wanting to own our dignity. And where was your passion for unity then? Was it in the tips of your machetes? In Polonarawa, Mattakalapu, Keralaya? And I reject the notion that the Vattukotta resolution was a nationalistic call for secession. We didn't decide to secede. You told us to leave. And in 1981, you burned our library. Twice. Me and my children will never get to read what was written on the palmyra leaves of our nation's history. A history we shared for centuries. And I don't even need to go into 1983 because everybody knows what Black July is. When you came with voter registration lists, addresses of our homes and businesses. And for 5 days, members of your community ran rampant with hate. Emotionally, spiritually, and physically, you burned us, and in turn, turned us into militants. So when you bash the LTTE, remember that in part, you created that history. And as my friend Dayalan so eloquently said, respecting dead fighters and promoting the concept of fighting is different. So let our dead rest in peace. And for those of us in the West, there are pieces of our history which we too must accept. The last time I went back, I spoke with the former Porali who was there when his unit received the command to knowingly fire 6 shells into the civilian population. He convinced them to fire only 3. And by the end, he saw truckloads of crying children dragged in, given 1 week to learn how to fight and tossed to the front lines. I spent time with the Tangachi whose body still bore the unwilling wounds of the war that I was willing to support, but never had the guts or strength to fly out and die for. And regardless of the circumstances mitigating 1990, every single one of us needs to get down on our knees and give the Muslim population a personal "I'm sorry." And Rajani Akka, I'm sorry. Whether it was the Yakkam or not, Rajani Akka, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And there is a piece of my heart that hurts every time I acknowledge these truths. But it's something that I choose to do. Because the Muslim Amma who did nothing and lost everything, the 15-year-old girl in Mannar who was afraid of getting good grades because she knew that it would put her at risk for being forcefully conscripted, these people, they are a part of my movement too. Because as much as the movement means to me, I can't help but see that our blind idolatry does nothing to honor their memory. And because I know that no matter what I know, nothing will ever shake my love for the intent of the LTTE. Their intent wasn't to create some ethnically divisive militant state. Their intent was to keep us safe. And so today, this is what I ask of the Sinhalese. Stop calling us terrorists and stand up for us. It's been 2 years and psychosocial services still are not freely allowed into the north and east. Why? Get angry that 2 weeks ago, 2 human rights workers were disappeared from Jaffna. If you genuinely believe in unity, then take our struggle and make it your own. For the sake of the unity which already exists. For our shared appreciation of shit Sri Lankan mothers say. For Kannahi and Pattini. In honor of the Sinhalese who sheltered us in 1983. Bring your Ayubuwaning butts together and let us see the Sinhala Spring. And please, don't make me feel stupid for wanting to have faith in you.